Captain's log, stardate 87723.1. After a tiny lapse in attention, I'd say, Dr. Dahlberg has suggested that I pay a visit to Risa. Well, when I say suggested, I really mean ordered, and honestly I don't see the big deal. All I did was lean against a wall. It's not my fault there was a console on it, and besides, the ambassador was only in space for a few seconds before the transporters beamed him back in. No harm done. The doctor has decided that this was fatigue due to my lack of shore leave, so now I guess I'm off to Risa. Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Runabout Cavalier, on her continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Hello everyone and welcome to Risa. In this year's summer event, you can win a T6 sentient Cosmozoan just by spending time on the famous Pleasure Planet. And who would say no to that? I am of course talking about the massive morphing space jellyfish from the first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, where they appeared in both the form of a starship and a bloody massive jellyfish, and of course the station, Farpoint. I haven't yet completed the event, so I don't know if the prize here can also morph, but it looks like it can. However, this is not all you can get from the event. By participating in activities here on Risa, you will earn Lunat favors, which can be used to purchase anything from means of travel to vanity shields for your starship. These activities are on a constant rotation and tend to stay up for between 6 and 13 minutes. The first of these is the Horgon hunt. What are Horgons, you ask? Well,
the Horgon is the Rysian symbol of
relaxation and enjoyment.
There are Horgons hidden throughout this island that can be scanned for, and give between 2 and 5 favors when found, and once you get 10 of these, you will earn a bonus of 75 favors on top of that. As this island is somewhat large, you should consider searching for these Horgons with a Rysian floater, rentable with credits and purchasable with Lononut favors from the Rysian floater vendor at the floater station near the transporter pad at the Risa Resort. While collecting these Horgons, you will also find Rysian tropical bird eggs that you can raise as your own at the top floor of the promenade as a duty officer assignment at the ornithologist. And if you really need reputation marks, then you can trade this bird that you stole from its parents' nest and raised as your own that is totally dependent on you for a reputation multiple choice marks package. Next is the artifact scavenger hunt. In this, you'll be asked by a Ferengi named Sovak to find temporarily displaced artifacts that he will pay favors for. These artifacts can be scanned for and are hidden once again throughout the island. The scanner, however, is less than precise, but it doesn't usually take me more than 4 minutes to find them, so don't panic.
I wasn't panicking. It's just an expression.
Then, there are the races, starting with the power board. As you might imagine, you will need a power board for this race, and you can purchase these for favors or rent them for credits at the promenade on the site-to-site transport list, or you can get a board from the Phoenix store. In this race, you will have to travel from the promenade to the finish line at the resort through the river that splits the island. To do this, you will have to take boosts, jump ramps, and dodge rocks to do it. I started off with a Phoenix board to begin with because I didn't have any favors yet, and it was a good way to get used to controls because this board is slightly more forgiving than the later ones because it's a bit slow and very good at turning. However, my only wins were had after I upgraded to the pink and silver board, which is the cheapest of the 88 speed boards, and it is probably the best looking. But aside from boards, the 2 tips I would give that you have to remember is to make sure you stay on the course or you'll be disqualified. And once you reach the end, you need to grab the finishing flag or it won't count you as having completed the race. So be ready to disengage your board once you reach the end. The other race here, of course, is the biathlon, which requires both the powerboard as well as the aforementioned floater. It's pretty much the same thing, just with a different course starting near Sovak's camp, as well as an aerial aspect at the resort. First place in these races will earn you 75 favors, second is 50, third is 25, and fourth, along with everything else, will earn you 15 favors. Finishing these races will also earn you tropical tags, which can be used at the top floor of the promenade once again by the Ferengi in a duty officer assignment with various Rysian monkey pets as rewards that can be traded back to him for reputation multiple choice marks packages, similarly to the tropical birds. Then we move on to a slightly less competitive one, the dance-off. This takes place, as you might imagine, on the dance floor at the front of the resort and will require you to complete various dance moves from the emotes tab in the chat window, which I would suggest detaching for ease of use. These moves will be called out and demonstrated by, as you might imagine, the dance instructor. You'll be required to complete 3, then 5, then 10, and then 20 dance sequences, earning you 10, 15, 25, and 50 favors, respectively. But you will also earn a further 100 favors if the random choo-choo dance event occurs, and which can also occur multiple times per dance-off. Or not at all, if you're unlucky. Also, just keep in mind that when the dance instructor tells you to just dance, she doesn't mean just dance. She means specifically the dance mix. If you don't, then you won't progress and you won't earn the reward as quickly. Just keep that in mind. Took me a while to realize that. In addition, there are some activities that can be played at any time, give or take a cooldown. These consist of flying high, which will require a floater, and will see you flying some courses around the island for 50 favors in total. Sovak's artifact hunt, which is the same as before but for fewer favors, and just simply building a sandcastle. That last one is easier said than done, however, for you will need to find a bucket along the beach to start, and once you have about 2 minutes to complete the structure or it will collapse. And on top of that, you will have to build it out of specific materials from specific locations like wet sand, dry sand, sticks, rocks, and if that wasn't enough, the Rysian wildlife will be working against you. Along with the sea. They will try to make your life even more difficult, but if you manage to complete the structure, you will receive 20 Lolonut favors. All of these activities, other than the sandcastles, will earn you daily progress towards allying with the Tier 6 sentient morphing jellyfish, and as I mentioned before, you can use your favors to purchase Rysian equipment and Rysian outfits from the event store or the vendor from earlier, near the tailor and blueberries. Blueberries? And with that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on Risa. Goodbye.